Imagine one day waking up as a Savannah homeowner to flood insurance that's either unaffordable in Savannah, Georgia, or isn't available. Could it happen? But we've seen it happen across other parts of the country. What can you do about it? Is it gonna make your housing unaffordable? Well, that's what we're talking about in today's video. So let's get started. But before we do, remember, share, subscribe, and like the channel so other people can find the same valuable content. Hi, I'm Chris, the flood insurance guru. More than 12 years ago, I bought a house in a flood zone just like this in Georgia, where I was told my premiums were gonna be $3,000 when they should have been $300. Flood insurance was going to be unaffordable for me. It literally was going to cost me my dream house. And I've been helping homeowners like yourself overcome these obstacles for the last 12 years. So today we're talking about the future of flood insurance in Savannah, Georgia. You know, we've had some recent flood events. We had a flash flood event from a severe thunderstorm. We had almost 11 inches of rain in Savannah. I know, I was born in Savannah. I spent my summers at Tybee. I know this area. I've seen floods on Wilshire and Abercorn. I've seen what happens with some of these afternoon thunderstorms with the canal, Savannah, River Street area, all of that. But now we want to talk about the future of flood insurance in Savannah, Georgia. Are you going to be able to find affordability and different options? In order to understand that though, we've got to understand how flood insurance rates are built. So let's talk about how are flood insurance rates built in Savannah, Georgia? Let's talk about the National Flood Insurance Program first. When it comes to building flood insurance rates, you know, a few years ago, they changed it with Risk Rating 2.0, where they no longer even use flood zones to determine your flood insurance rates. They look at things like distance to water, the type of flooding, whether it's river flooding, coastal flooding, flash flooding from river from rainfall, all these different things. They look at how far you are elevated above this, the cost to replace your building. All these different things are used to determine the rates now with the National Flood Insurance Program. That's all put in this big pool and they spit back a rate for you. However, they don't really tell us how this is all built. They don't say 20% here, 20% there like they used to. So it is a little challenging there, understanding what you can do as a homeowner. But the biggest thing you can do is making sure things like your replacement costs are correct, making sure your distance to water, you're as far away from water as possible, or you're high above water as possible. Using things to elevate your property if you can, putting in flood vents, all these different things can help. Now let's talk a little bit about how private flood insurance builds their rates. The private flood insurance looks a lot of things like Risk Rating 2.0 does, but it also looks like a flood frequency when it comes to claims. So while with the National Flood Insurance Program, you should always be able to get flood insurance, even if you fall on that severe repetitive loss list where you have to go directly through a special program, that can't be said for private. In fact, some private companies, if you ever have a claim, if you ever had a flood loss, they won't do a policy on the property. It's important to understand that. Some of them won't do a policy if you've had a claim within 5 years or if a claim is over a certain amount, which means that in Savannah, Georgia, with all the flooding that's going on, some homeowners may only have the option of the National Flood Insurance Program. If they've had more than 2 claims post 2021 or post Risk Rating 2.0, they may have a claim variable now used on their policies to determine some of their renewal rates, which means flood insurance could go up. In doing this though, you want to make sure federal government actually has the loss history correct. Look, so we've seen it where sometimes it can be wrong. There's a wrong address there. In fact, we had a homeowner where this was a difference of almost $5,000 a year because it was their neighbor's house that had the flood claim, not them. Look, it was a battle, but they finally won. We helped them win that battle with the National Flood Insurance Program where they got that corrected. So you don't just have to assume this property's had 2 or 3 losses. Maybe you're looking at buying a house in Savannah, Georgia. You want to ask, hey, has the property ever flooded since you've lived in it? Has it ever flooded since you've owned it? Because with the property disclosure laws in Georgia, you know, they need to disclose that, especially if an investor owned it who's never lived in it. This way, if you know it's had a few claims, you go in knowing, hey, I may only have one option through the National Flood Insurance Program, and it might be very expensive, so I'm gonna walk away from the deal, or I know this going in. And remember, typically, the National Flood Insurance Program caps their insurance rates at 18% rate increases each year, but sometimes that does not include that claim variable or how certain flood risk might be changing. Because remember, the National Flood Insurance Program uses all this information that's constantly changing. So you may get a rate today and a different rate 45 days from now, just depending how the programs operate. So you want to remember that when it comes to the future of flood insurance in Savannah, Georgia. But look, as a homeowner and the future of flood insurance in Savannah, Georgia, the number one thing is that you're protected. So in the description of this video, you can take these 3 simple steps to getting protected, but simply by filling out that form, reviewing your options, and finalizing your policy. If you want to learn more about flood insurance in Savannah, Georgia, click out our playlist in the corner here on Savannah, Georgia flood insurance. I'm Chris, the flood insurance guru, and I want to say thank you for watching today's video on the future of flood insurance in Savannah, Georgia.